Hi, this is Ken Pyle with ViodiTV. We just heard from Commissioner McDowell at his first address of a major telecom convention. And now we're going to ask him to follow up on a few comments he made. One of them was how wireless impacted your family back in the 30s and 40s. And now it's starting to impact us again. And the FCC has many initiatives that are of interest to independent telcos. 700 megahertz spectrum's coming up, and then this white spaces. Unlicensed devices that you're looking at. If you can elaborate on those, that'd be great.
Sure, it's a phenomenally exciting time for really the whole country, but for NTCA's members, I think there's a tremendous amount of opportunity out there right now. You were referring to earlier how the only way for my dad to keep in touch with the outside world when he was a kid growing up on a ranch along the Tex-Mex border was for my grandfather to take the car battery out of the car and hook it up to the radio in the house every night, and they would listen to radio reports from all over the country at that point to find out what was going on, to stay connected with the rest of the world. And you're absolutely right, we are now on the verge of a new sort of wireless revolution. The internet is going wireless. We had a phenomenally successful round of bidding in our advanced wireless services auction back last summer. Of the 104 successful bidders, over half were either small businesses and or rural telephone companies. We're trying to take what we learned from those auctions and see what we can do to improve upon that auction. The chairman just last week before the Senate Commerce Committee, Chairman Martin, said that we would be looking at even smaller market sizes, which I think will help a lot of NTCA's members be able to actually secure a license in smaller markets. And I think that's fantastic news. So we'll have small, medium, large, but also very small market sizes. And if you're a large, medium, small, or very small company, hopefully you'll have a shot, a good chance of getting some spectrum. We are hoping this spring to be able to set up the service rules for 700 megahertz, and then the auction rules would come shortly thereafter. Hopefully late summer or so we'll be able to begin these auctions. Of course, we have to begin it no later than January 28th of 2008, so we have about 11 months to get this auction started as a matter of law according to the Digital TV Act. But what's terrific about the 700 megahertz spectrum, and why I'm so excited, is that what they call the propagation characteristics are so robust. It's basically the analog TV signals, so we know they can go long distances, they have a lot of bandwidth, and they can penetrate buildings, and that is perfectly suited for broadband access in rural America.
And one of the things you talked about in both now and then, of course, in your speech, was the whole idea of allowing smaller players, smaller businesses to participate. You mentioned, half the bidders were small business winners. One of the burdens that some of the independent telcos have told me about is the whole broadband CALIA and putting that in, and I guess it's the mandate is May. What sort of relief do you see in that area?
Well, still considering a lot of ideas in that regard. I think that will actually be a fairly fluid, iterative type process. And we want to make sure we aren't, at least from my perspective, I want to make sure that we're not overly burdening businesses of all sizes, but especially small businesses. But at the same time, we have some very stark realities of law enforcement and homeland security, and of course some congressional mandates on that front. So it's a delicate balance. We want to do all that we can, but at the same time want to make sure we're not putting undue costs on smaller carriers. So we'll be looking at all that, and we'll continue to do so. Probably for the rest of my term.
Well, and just one other question along those same lines. Set-top mandate, July I think is the time frame. A lot of these telcos have gone out, they've been pioneers, they've deployed IPTV systems. Unfortunately, probably even before the equipment was ready necessarily, they were really the ones creating this IPTV market in the beginning. But a lot of those set-top boxes aren't necessarily upgradable to a security card. How will that be addressed? Believe.
Thus far, the set-top box issue has been handled through just at the Media Bureau level at the Commission, and there have been a number of waiver petitions, as you know, filed, and the Bureau is sort of going through them one at a time. I think for some of the larger cable companies, they've denied them, but it's my sense, and this is not a FCC or Commission level decision, but it's my sense they will be looking out for smaller businesses, and maybe some more limited, so-called low-end waivers may be granted in that regard, and we've already seen some action in that regard.
So it's probably important for independent telcos to make sure their voices are heard
Absolutely.
if they have a problem in this area.
Please come to Washington or call or write if you can't come here. in person.
Commissioner McDowell, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Really appreciate it.